Being a business owner, it's an exciting journey, but it can sometimes feel like climbing Mount Everest or trying to walk down Market Street on a Saturday afternoon. Luckily, there's plenty of financial support available across Greater Manchester for budding new business owners, skyrocketing scale-ups, and long-established businesses too. From small business grants and finance for equipment to get up and running, to equity investment to supercharge your business. Want to know which options are right for you? That's where SimpliFi can help. We help you understand the different types of finance options available, making the process of starting, scaling, or nurturing your business a simple one. So, whether you want to know which loans are best for your needs, or you're excited to explore investment, speak to one of our finance specialists today. Our support is free and could give you the boost you're looking for, because no matter where you are on your business journey, we can help you on your way. SimpliFi. We are finance simplified.
Good afternoon. I'm thrilled to introduce an exciting new website that will help us in the way that we support and interact with financial information right here in Greater Manchester. In a world where information is power, we believe in empowering the Greater Manchester business community with the tools and resources to help them make informed decisions. Today we're proudly unveiling SimpliFi, a unique website aimed at the Greater Manchester business community in mind. Our vision is simple: to simplify financial knowledge so it's accessible for everyone, regardless of background or expertise. In an ever-evolving financial landscape, SimpliFi is your destination. From self-employed, pre-start, or an existing business looking to make sense of the complexities of the financial world, this platform has been tailored to your needs. Some of the key features of the platform: it's got a local focus. So we understand the unique financial challenges faced by businesses in Greater Manchester. This website has been crafted with that in mind, and tools, resources, and insights will tailor to that local audience. Up-to-date market information. The financial market moves at such a rapid pace, it's crucial to be informed. SimpliFi is committed to delivering market trends, up-to-date financial information, and to make sure that you keep informed decisions. A user-friendly interface. Navigating the finance landscape and the finance world can be daunting. SimpliFi, as its name suggests, aims to simplify that experience, even for those unfamiliar with financial jargon, so they can effortlessly explore and understand the information. Resources and guides. So you can make use of the resources and guides on the website, such as creating your own business plan, pitching to investors, or the tools to help you find the right solutions. They should empower you to enhance your financial literacy at your own pace. So I'd like to, before we go on to the demonstration of the website, just introduce the panel here today. We've got Miles Rothbury, who is the Greater Manchester Business Board Finance Lead and the Group Treasurer for Boohoo. You've been previously the CEO of Asset Finance for HSBC. Yeah. And you're here today to show your expertise and on the current market conditions and what businesses are facing. We've also got my colleague Yvonne Sampson. Yvonne heads up the enterprise team at the Business Growth Hub, and it's helped to support self-employed, pre-start and established businesses in skills, business planning, financial information to help them grow. Phil Hargreaves heads up the Access to Finance team at the Business Growth Hub. Phil and his team over the last 10 years have facilitated over 300 million in finance offers for businesses across Greater Manchester, which has helped create jobs and drive growth in the area. So thank you very much for coming and speaking to you.
Thank you.
So the first topic I want to come to is current market conditions for businesses obtaining finance. And just before I come to you, Miles, businesses have had it pretty tough in the last few years, from the pandemic to the COVID loans, then the bounce back loans that were an essential lifeline for businesses, to last year and the huge increases in the cost of doing business and increased inflation. There are 5.5 million small businesses in the UK. A third of those accessed businesses in 2022. That was down from a half the previous year. Now, obviously, bounce back loans, I'm sure, accounted for somewhat of that amount, but the market conditions have changed. You've been working on the business board for the last 3 years, getting involved with business initiatives. What's been your take on current market conditions for businesses accessing investment into their organisation?
Yeah, it's a great question, Tom, and thanks very much for having me today. So I think from my perspective, when I think about that question, I like to kind of look back and say, look, what's happened over the last kind of 15 years and where have we come from and where have we gotten to now, particularly in the last year or so. And, we've come from a period of incredibly benign financial and economic conditions in the UK. Since the global financial crisis, we've had interest rates at a record low, inflation, under control, again at very low levels. And, from around the globe, a lot of generally peaceful free trade kind of environment to businesses to operate in. You fast forward to the last kind of 18 months and we've seen an incredible level of volatility. And, whilst that might not look a lot on a historic graph, the speed of that change has been something that has been really difficult for businesses and consumers to actually operate within. So you've had interest rates go up from near enough 0% to closer to 5.5%. You've had inflation rising at the highest level in 30 years. You've had volatility in exchange rates, changing the price of goods and services. And all these things have an impact on confidence and on people's ability and desire to take risk. And, I'm a big fan of the UK and the Greater Manchester economy and the entrepreneurship that's there, that's going to power this economy now and in the future. But that's a lot for people to have to navigate. And as they think about investing and growing in their business and getting access to capital, that's something which changes your decision making. And for the audience who are listening in today, just for the benefit of everybody, there's only two forms of capital that a business can have. You can either have equity or you can have debt. And, equity is permanent capital where somebody would take a stake in a business and give you cash for that stake. So if the business is worth £100,000 and someone took a 10% stake, they would take that stake and give the owner 10,000 of cash. Equally, debt is just an IOU. And, you borrow that debt from a debt provider and they expect to get that debt back at some point in the future. Yeah. So they're the two kind of broad pieces of debt. And, there's a huge range of options out there for businesses and for entrepreneurs. And SimpliFi's goal is to help give them that information and access to what that cash looks like in simple, plain English, and access to high quality advice through, the Greater Manchester Growth Hub, which is a fantastic proposition within the Greater Manchester area, from students doing side hustles through to established SMEs and mid-corporates. Yeah. So there are a lot of challenges out there, but what we're trying to do is make sure that those pools of capital that are available out there in the market are able to get accessed by the businesses and the entrepreneurs who can use them best. So a lot of challenges, but some opportunities as well.
Thanks, Miles. Phil, I'm going to come to you. 44 years in the banking and financial sector, for the last 10 of those working with the Business Growth Hub and the Access to Finance team. You've obviously been seeing some changes in the finance market during that time. What's your current take on debt-based financial solutions in the market?
Well, good question, and I'll probably echo a lot of, or some of what Miles has already talked about. I mean, we saw an explosion, we have seen an explosion in the number and style of business products available to small businesses. Since the last recession, we've saw that big explosion around fintech, big explosion around access to funding and finance instruments through online investment portals. We've seen changes in high street banking from challenger banks to alternative finance solutions. So I guess what I'm really saying is there's never been a better time to borrow money or to seek investment. There's so much out there. That comes with an added complexity, which means that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners don't really understand what might be available for their business at its given stage of its life cycle. So really, what we're finding now are business owners wanting to take on potential investment or debt to grow their businesses, to move them on to the next level, but not often understanding what might be available. And that's where, the Access to Finance team and other teams within the Growth Hub come into it. But as Miles has already said, what we wanted to do with SimpliFi was really help businesses to understand in a jargon-free, simple way about what might be available. It's about the entry point into the financial world to better understand what might be available to them and how they can access that. And we've seen a lot of changes over the years, but I think that core one is about that complexity and that ability to navigate that complex hierarchy of financial products and services that are available. 30 years ago, it was quite a simple process. One stop, high street banks. Miles worked for high street bank, I've worked for high street bank. One stop shop, no problem. Now it's more about a blended approach to getting funding and finance, whether that might be debt-based products around things like commercial overdrafts, commercial loans, commercial mortgages, asset finance. There's a broad spectrum of products available, and more importantly, a broad spectrum of providers. And what we try to do at Access to Finance is educate businesses to understand what products and services might be right for them at any given point in their life cycle.
Thanks, Phil. Yvonne, I'm going to come to you. Some of the barriers and challenges that businesses face. You ran your business for 12 years before joining the Growth Hub on the Successful Enterprise and New programme. You've then headed up the enterprise team where you help businesses of all shapes and sizes to achieve their ambitions. What do you find from businesses that you're working with on a day-to-day basis that, some of the challenges that they face when it comes to finance on the topic?
If I just take you back a step, when COVID came along, a lot of businesses, the smaller businesses like self-employed, there wasn't the funding there. But a lot of businesses, what they did was they actually re-looked at their business, and a lot of them pivoted their business and increased their confidence and realised that actually they could grow the business, or they really focused on survival at that particular point. A lot of smaller businesses tend to be risk averse with regards to they'll go to family and friends for money. They'll actually just, if you like, have a barrier to growing the business because they know that if they need to grow it, and I think we talked about this earlier about a mindset of that fear of if I grow and I take a loan out and I've got to pay the money back, it puts that added pressure on. So it's a bit more of an emotional decision sometimes for the smaller sort of business owner. But I think also you've hit on before that this product now that you've got, SimpliFi, it is about making sure that this is a simple journey. Look at the information that's there and simplify it, and that through Access to Finance and Phil's team, you will get that support and take you on that journey to help you to grow the business. I think there's a lot of smaller businesses that really, if it was made simple, they understood it, took away that fear of being risk averse, I think there's a lot more businesses would make that jump and actually want to grow their businesses more.
I think we know from statistical information that a lot of small businesses out there are almost self-decliners.
Yeah.
They decide that they're not worthy of getting access to funding and finance, and simply decide not to make that first step into the world of finance, to help grow and move the businesses onto the next level. And that's why I believe that SimpliFi is the right product at the right time, as we keep talking about. And I'd implore people who are watching in today to really have a good look at it and to share it with friends and colleagues as well.
Fab. Miles, anything to add on barriers, challenges that businesses are currently facing in the market?
Well, I think Phil and Yvonne have absolutely hit the nail on the head. For me, it is absolutely a mindset point of view, and absolutely having that ability to understand the finance landscape and how to get at it. And I think there's a lot of very well-intentioned funds out there on both from grants through to equity through to debt, both at banks, at government, from angels, from funds, but actually people don't know where to start. Fundamentally, they want entrepreneurs as it relates to finance want money, and they want to know it's the right type of money for their business at their time, and they want to speak to someone who is knowledgeable and knows how to help them do that through the advice that they get. And that is a huge benefit that we can't underestimate. And that will allow that unlocking of that caution and that entrepreneurial mindset, because it gives people confidence. People make different decisions when they're confident versus when they're not. And I think, when I'm sat on the business board, and I was thinking, what is the one thing I could do, and we could do as a group here with the Growth Hub, it's to get more of those pockets of locked up capital and make them accessible to the entrepreneurs who are going to grow this economy and make the businesses of the future and grow even more the businesses of today.
Yep.
So mindset for me, mindset and access.
Fabulous. Phil, I'm going to come back to you now. You've been involved with this project since its inception. How do you think SimpliFi is going to support the work that Access to Finance do?
Well, it's going to be a great precursor to the work that we do with businesses, and it's going to be, as I think I've said before, that entry point, that entry level, that piece, that jargon-free portal, that window on the finance world, which will say, come in, have a look, see what kind of things you might need to access, you might be able to access, and to kind of drill down and tell and inform business owners about what products and services are available, but more importantly, what some of those products and services might deliver for their business to help them become better informed. And I see it as a bit of a spider's web, I guess. I see SimpliFi at the centre of that, and then lots of, other areas moving out from that, whether business owners want to access the GM Business Growth Hub for support and guidance and signposting, whether they want to speak directly to the Access to Finance team, or whether they want to speak to, the private sector brokers that they work with, or the corporate finance houses. This isn't about pulling businesses into the Growth Hub, it's about ensuring that entrepreneurs in Greater Manchester have the best chance to grow their businesses and get a starting point that they can hone in on if they're struggling to better understand what might be available for them. So we want to take some of those 50-60% of SMEs that don't take on external capital. We want to encourage them to explore options about whether it's right for them, and that they can then move on, take finance and grow the businesses further for the benefit of not only themselves and their own businesses, but the wider GM community. And that's really what we're aiming for.
Great, thanks Phil. Miles, you've said it before, you were involved with this project, and it's a collaborative piece between the business board and the growth company. What were the aims and objectives that you really wanted to see from this website?
Well, first of all, I think what the growth company's actually delivered is exactly what we talked about from the beginning and more. I think they've done a fantastic job, and actually I don't think there's anything like it in the UK in terms of other growth hubs doing something quite in the way SimpliFi is trying to do it. And SimpliFi is not a baked cake. It's going to keep iterating and keep improving over time, and keep pulling together all those sources of finance. But the key areas for me were somewhere where entrepreneurs, all stages of their lives and business careers, could come to understand what are the opportunities to get hold of money, capital out there, and what kind of advice do I need in order to go and unlock that? Because there's so much well-intentioned good data out there, research, and information. It's overwhelming, and this tries to signpost it in a clear, simple way, which again creates confidence. And Yvonne and Phil have put it far better than I ever could around that mindset and around that information and the purpose of this. We want to get more of this money out to the businesses and entrepreneurs who can spend it, grow their companies with confidence by having some good advice, so they're not having to go to 15 different places, to have 15 different conversations. Come to SimpliFi, have one, be targeted in your approach, unlock your business quicker.
Fab. Thanks, Miles. Yvonne, I'm sure SimpliFi is going to help a lot of the businesses that you support in your area
definitely.
within the Business Growth Hub, but there is still a need for that one-to-one support and guidance. What sort of support can your team offer alongside a product like SimpliFi as almost like an additional added value product?
Yeah. I think two routes really to come in and to work with us at GM Business Growth Hub. They could either go on to SimpliFi and then say, well, okay, yeah, I've got all the information, but actually I could do with using somebody as a bit of a sounding board, go and have a chat with those. So yeah, we offer one-to-one support, and we can offer that up to a maximum of say 26 weeks. But if they just want that one conversation, and then we can either refer through to Phil's team, or they could actually go direct to Phil's team. It's entirely up to them how they go. But yeah, it's actually having somebody that they can just chat through what their thoughts are. They've seen the SimpliFi, they've got an idea, they maybe want to go for a grant, or they want to get a business angel involved, then that person can work with them. A lot of the people that work within the enterprise team have run their own businesses as well. So they really have an affinity with those people that are actually they're talking to, which sometimes helps. Just pick up the phone, go on to SimpliFi, or get on the website. We'll be there to support them.
Perfect. And with that being said, I think now would be a good time to look at some of the key features of the website as well.
SimpliFi is a place for Greater Manchester businesses to discover the finance options and information they need to help grow, sustain and protect their business, whatever stage of the journey they're at. Let's explore the website. On the homepage, you can select which stage your business is currently at. Be your own boss for self-employed or starting a business. Start and rapidly scale for those that are pre-start or high-growth startups. And nurture and sustain your business for existing or long-established businesses who are looking to grow. Selecting one of these options, such as Start and Rapidly Scale Your Business, will take you to a dedicated audience page where you can explore some of the finance options that might be suitable for that stage of your business journey. For Start and Rapidly Scale, for example, this includes things like angel finance and startup loans. You can also access downloadable guides packed with useful tips such as how to create a business plan. You'll also find case studies of businesses at similar stages of growth and discover how finance helped them unlock future growth. Returning to the navigation bar at the top of the page, you'll find the Resources button. From here, you can select the Finance option page. Scrolling through, you can select any finance option and head to a dedicated page, where you'll find simple information on what that option is, what types of businesses it's suitable for, the benefits of accessing it, what you'll need to apply, and other useful information. The Resources section of the website also includes free downloadable guides, covering various templates and information that you might need to help grow your business and access finance. The Glossary page is where we break down some financial jargon that can complicate the process of accessing finance and provide simple definitions of common words and phrases. Our Case Studies page houses interesting stories from businesses of all shapes, sizes and types, who have previously benefited from our support in accessing finance or funding. The Business Support and Funding Finder has been created so you can access business support and different funding options in one dedicated place. Click through and fill in the simple survey and you'll be directed to the latest resources or contact information you need to get started. You can also download the results as a PDF if you need time to consider these or would like to share the results with others in your organisation. Looking to speak to one of our team directly? Head to our Contact Us page where you'll be put through to our inquiries team. They're available to discuss your needs and can put you in touch with a financial specialist to talk through any questions you have on the finance options that could help your business grow. SimpliFi. We are finance simplified.
Thank you. We're really excited to launch this website and to really help businesses in the city region start using and understanding and accessing financial information to help them make empowered decisions. And talking of businesses, we are joined now by Bea from Keep This Cracker. Bea, thanks for joining us here today and to share your journey. Just wanted to talk about, where you started off this business and what was the idea around Keep This Cracker and how did you launch the product?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. Yes, my background is design. I started in retail in the early 90s, started working at the Body Shop. Yeah. I was there for about 12 years. So sustainability was very much part of the work that I was doing and it stayed in my DNA. So when I look at the design process, I see things that I think, wow, that's not really working as well as it should. There are better ways of doing it. Yeah. So I feel compelled to kind of have a go and have a look. Being absolutely obsessed with paper folding and packaging, Christmas crackers was something I was really keen to have a look at. Yeah. So I developed a reusable option that works like a standard cracker, as you pull it, but it's slightly different. You want to give it a go?
Yes, and give it a go.
Right.
Perfect.
So basically, when you pull it, it's still got the snap.
It's still got the snap, yeah.
But it doesn't tear. So you can put it back together again. All you do to reuse it is you take the snap out and then you just put another snap through the folds at the end.
Clever.
And then it's good to go. So they come flat packed. So you can pop them into shape really easy, no glue, no fuss.
Yep.
And put your own gifts inside as well, which is a huge bonus for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And when you've finished using them, you just flatten them back down again and you can use the packaging to store them away. Yep. My customers have been telling me they're still reusing them for like 5 years on, which is amazing. It was really, really brilliant. So it's compostable as well, but you notice that was a normal loud bang. Mm-hmm. I've also developed something called the EcoSnap.
The EcoSnap?
The EcoSnap, because when I realised that actually a lot of people don't like the noises that crackers make.
Okay.
people with autism, ADHD, PTSD, other conditions.
Yeah.
So this is perfect for them. And also for pet owners who actively avoid using Christmas crackers. So that's sort of an added bonus.
Very clever. So obviously we are talking about finance here today, and obviously with the launch of SimpliFi. How have you financed the business so far?
Very much on my own. It's all been self-financed up until now. I started my business 10 years ago, really when very few people were talking about sustainability, reusing anything, least of all Christmas crackers. So it was actually quite a hard sell, to be honest. But I've noticed that over the last 5 years, the consumer conscience, just general public awareness of waste and sustainability has grown, and I've seen that with my business.
Yep.
But I grew it slowly, quite intentionally, because I felt that that was the perfect time to find the right suppliers, to fine-tune the product, and above all, make sure it functions well, that it's fit for purpose, and to really explore different retail markets, learn about my customers. So it's been a fabulous opportunity to really iron out a lot of creases.
And what does the future look like for you and Keep This Cracker now?
Well, the stage I'm at the moment, I do sell online on the keepthiscracker.com website. I also sell through Nossen High Street, but I also supply trade. So zero waste shops, galleries, garden centres. So that's the sort of current situation, but I'm actually identifying some fantastic opportunities out there. I do work with a beautiful hotel down in Somerset who order the crackers every year for their Christmas table, which is brilliant, but they keep reordering them because the customers are taking them home. And I'm also working with another business on corporate gifting.
Yeah.
So those two areas have got huge potential, I think. So,
which kind of comes on to, where would a platform like SimpliFi support you going forward?
Well, yes, because I've got to look at in order to grow the business, I need to look at more stock, fulfillment, support with sales, social media marketing. I'd like to offer bespoke options so people can have their logos printed on. So up until now, because I've been self-financed, it's not an area I've really spent much time investigating. So a platform like this for somebody like a business like mine is perfect, because I can go on there and I can look at all the different options and investigate what's out there. And one thing, when I looked at it, I thought what was really helpful for me was where that we had the risks, because as a small business owner, you want to know, how's that going to actually impact my business? Whatever decision I make, how's that going to affect how I progress forward? So, and the extra support, so there's a contact button, you can speak to somebody that's going to help you navigate all the different aspects and opportunities.
Well, look, thank you very much for coming in today and talking about your journey. I think it's there's a big future ahead for Keep This Cracker. I think obviously being timely, coming up to Christmas time, I think, how can people find your products? I know you mentioned it before, but probably worth another.
All right, keepthiscracker.com.
Keepthiscracker.com. Fabulous. So thank you for joining the SimpliFi launch today. As we close, you're going to hear from one of the clients that have actually accessed the support from the Access to Finance team. And in conclusion, SimpliFi, we're more than just a website. We're a commitment to the financial well-being of the business community here in Greater Manchester. And we're really excited, and thank you for joining us on this exciting journey. SimpliFi, we are a finance simplified.
So my name's Jane Whitaker and I'm the founder of Quest Training. Quest Training is an accredited training centre for CPCS and NPAWS and soon to be Streetworks. We provide a career transition programme to help people get back on track from leaving one environment and going into another, predominantly ex-service users and ex-offenders. What compelled me to set up and run my own business was recognising the need within the community and wanting to make a difference to that. To reduce the reoffending rate and to work with the ex-servicemen to help them back on track is a big passion of mine. So it was something that I always wanted to do. And I found a way to write it into the business that I was setting up so I could run the business and target that as well. I got in touch with Access to Finance because trying to access my own finance through the regular channels was proving really difficult, and I knew that I needed some extra help and some extra support. And when I did get in touch with Access to Finance, that is exactly what I got.
My name is Ian Dixon and I'm a Senior Business Advisor in the Access to Finance service. In essence, the support from A2F falls into two key priorities. The first of those is to help our clients become investment ready. So that's regardless of the type of finance, be it grant, equity finance or debt-based funding. And the second priority we have is to then introduce our client to suitable sources of funding and funders in the marketplace. In supporting Jane and Quest, what Access to Finance were able to do is really simplify the process. So we were able to support Jane in terms of awareness of what was required, simplify the terminology and provide input and understanding in terms of the process and the documentation that was required to support the process of a successful startup loan application.
The difficulties I faced prior to Access to Finance coming around was I just didn't understand the terminology that was being used. I struggled with the process, and the people that I was dealing with didn't really have the time to give me the help that I needed. But Access to Finance, they had their own business advisors that were so supportive. So yeah, it was really refreshing. The advisors were just amazing. The guy that I dealt with in particularly that helped the whole process was there all the time to explain the documents and how they needed to be completed, to work out all the financial predictions as necessary, and basically, you know, to hold my hand all the way through it. So they were just amazing.
Very positively, Jane as an early stage founder, obviously Access to Finance were able to engage, understand what Jane's objectives were for Quest training, and importantly support her through not only the process of application, but through the various requirements, the information that's required, all the way through to introduction to a lender, and hopefully, as Jane will allude, a successful outcome.
Access to Finance has massively benefited me and the business. Without it now, we probably wouldn't be here. They definitely had the faith to support me in my next step, which I was struggling to get to without that finance. So Access to Finance massively benefited me and the company.
I would absolutely say to anybody who's looking to obtain finance, considering funding in their business, to reach out to Access to Finance. It's a fully funded service. We have a team of advisors who have an enormous depth of experience and knowledge who are here to support and guide you on your funding journey.
For anybody reaching out to Access to Finance, I would say absolutely 100% do it. The support is second to none. They make the process so easy. Everybody who I've dealt with at Access to Finance has been so helpful. It's massively advantageous, so definitely I would say you must do it.